here to talk about subject at the before anything, sorry, my English is very bad. Take it easy with me. I came here to talk about a subject that's there's a period only that I started to maintain projects or create other projects with company in my company using Canvas. I promise that I won't talk so much. I will not deeply subjects technically. The idea is just review some concepts about software maintenance. Okay, there is information, but it doesn't work. My name is Raphael Amorim. This is how to speak. I came from Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. This is very different place than here. Yeah, I tried to get a cab and the wrong side. And the man was like, "What?" And I, "What?" Yeah, I as a software developer, made part of jQuery and Vue.js, the creator of Vue.js, and working jQuery core team, maintaining jQuery Color or jQuery projects like Globalize and KUnity or stuff like that. I work at Globe.com, the biggest portal, I don't know how to speak exactly, of the South America. And this is my Twitter. Any questions you can tweet to me, and probably I won't see. But yeah, other topic is if you have sorry for my English again. Okay, let's go. Some topics may generate discussions. For the lecture, I would like us to some points, and there's my personal options on the slides, and have a lot of HBR. Today, how we work with Canvas today? We have, in this case, we have an image with few properties, and we have here the source image, the widget, and the height. And when you talk about Canvas, most we start to work with can write class or set of functions that we can make reuse of this. But I will follow the approach by the class to show the example. Then we create or get Canvas. There is no pattern in that. Every library, every developer uses a different approach. When I say this, I mean a developer can follow the path of the Canvas, can create Canvas in memory, or after that append on element document body, or consider it already exists and just select and get the context. There's no big deal. There's no mystery on that. But when there's a little function after get the context, we started to work on it. Here are just a function to draw an image, or you get the image data from the current Canvas. So I made a public function, the filter image, the pass the arguments, the filter, the image, and the image options. Then apply the rule and call a filter function, like this 3 holds filter. how this works. We have here a three-holes filter, but it could be grayscale or another filter. As no secret in this code, it returns pixel by pixel and applies the rule, and finally returns error pixels. So in the end, we get an image. We made a stance of the filter wherever, and apply the a filter which in this case three-hole, but it can be grayscale or other filter. And we can say in the end we have a lib, a library, we get transform or applies a filter type based on the current settings. What is the pros of this approach? What are the good points of an approach like that? You have a faster development. You doesn't need to think about patterns, test stuffs. You just it's only you writing stuffs and creating codes. Have a lot of tiny libs to help. You can get in my company. We have a project that use Canvas and have a library to get image and get access the camera control, and applies in a Canvas with different filter, other library to do other work. So we have a lot of tiny libs to help. Doesn't need to use a standard API to develop it. You doesn't need to know React or know Polymer or other thing, or things about the base to the start developer something. But where is the weakness of this approach? Where is the bad things about everything the last approach? It's hard to test. When you start developing with the approach without think in tests and states, you have a full canvas with a lot of states. You have a lot of libraries with different states. You need to force it's better than these libraries started as stateless. You can test more easily, and doesn't need to use a standard API to develop. Yeah, it's a coin too. Because of that, when you develop, doesn't think. If you remember last case when I was appending a canvas in the bike, but the other developer can change the approach and instead create a canvas. He can get a current existing canvas and get the context. So doesn't have any standard methods development. This is a problem when you have a lot of teams working with the same project, and this project can be maintained. This unpluggable, it's very, very probable you have a project in Canvas. There's no be pluggable in other project with so easiness, but not all of the team know Canvas. Well, unless my team. I am the unique no Canvas in my team. So it's very challenging. Other teams have specific members with specific, I don't know how to say exactly, but tech specialists in other things. But so then I started a search about it and found a concept to be able to reverse this situation. but how I can reverse, how I can implement it. So let's think about components. We have a Game Boy. It's really a Game Boy. So we have our components and then nav. I don't know how to speak it here. It's nav. Okay, nav. Buttons, screen, and components should be reusable and pluggable. So you should be able to replace components. So the nav should be able to replace it by the buttons. This should be happen with and you should be able to remove components. So you must be the power of do this. And reorder components. You can change everything of order with easiness. But where is the real case of it? How I can implement that? How I can turn my software maintainable for all the teams of my company or things like that? First of all, you need to write tests in it only depends, not depends of the approach you do, but the test is very the most important. But I found some things that help to create components to share off with other members of your team. There's this Flipboard React Canvas, how it works. He have a class with extends a React component. There you receive all the methods, the lifecycle the React lifecycle methods. Then you have render, component did mount, component did update, component did unmount, everything about that. And you have a render method, there returns a canvas. You have two. Also you have component did mount, there shall when did the canvas when the component did mount, there's very redundant. But this call method updates canvas, there's nothing about create a rect. And you call of this in this way, rect don't render, but where's the good points about that? Easy to test, you can get an immutable canvas. Yeah, there is a fake argument, but is in the same time is true. I don't know how is argument about that exactly. You can draw don't like it objects on canvas elements, but you have problems. You need to React.js. It's not drawn. It's not about drawing drafts. Performance really matters because you have above React. Only React lifecycle ends. Canvas can be canvas method can be called. So this is not about performance. And there is a post of Flipboard. They started to use React Canvas on mobile to solve a problem with CSS. Speak it like this. I don't know CSS. Yeah. A problem with CSS animation because in mobile is very slow. So in Canvas you can use this abuse of FPS, and no other project. After Canvas, I created and maintained the Origami.js. This is a project of mine. What is the big deal of Origami.js? You can create a component. It's like other library to Canvas. The only thing is you can use chainable methods, and use CSS like like the style of things. So you have a sprite with receives props X, and in other you can send there anything you want, and you call components based on the first uppercase, left, and drop. But what is the big point of Organ.js? Doesn't react to style based on CSS, chainable, but stateful, immature yet, so you hard to test and still immature. Isn't to have 1 year of project, but you can help exist the Organ.js docs so that. But you tell me about should I create UI canvas components too? No. Flash is that, and not remake this mistake again. You want to need to create UI components. That doesn't make sense, but you should be writing reusable code. You should create modular canvas projects and more. I made it sample, in this sample I put React Canvas, React Canvas, Organ.js, Polymer, using shallow render, everything about that versus with the best cases. But the truth is, doesn't matter if you create things like that, but if you use something to create components, because if you create components but not test this, doesn't matter, doesn't have any sense. And that's it. It's very, very fast.